Okay, we're live. We're going to be doing a screen share of how to set up a Gmail filter so that you can keep your moderators informed of pre and post chat comments in the unified chat of the Business Hangout app so that not only will the host, but the moderators will be aware of activity there and can take action accordingly. This way, the host can give certain tasks to the moderator that the moderator can handle in there, such as answering questions and stuff, because he will now know that there's activity there. You had to go over to check to see if there was activity. It was a big waste of time. So we're going to start screen sharing. And this is the screen we're going to share, and we're going to say share. And we're going to say present to everyone. Okay, now if you notice, you will go up here to your Gmail. Actually, you can go to any of them. Let's do a brand new one. We'll go here. Okay. And then we can go to the Gmail. And that will go there. And then load Gmail. Now, you go up here to your settings. Right here. And you say settings. Okay. And you go here to settings. You go to filters and blocked addresses. Okay. This is where you're going to create a new filter right here. So, now, if you're in Business Hangouts, all the comments that are pre and post event comments, if the host sets it up so that they get notifications of pre and post comments, they get an email, and that email comes from no reply at business hangouts.com. Okay, so now that will filter all the host messages and filter out those that come from no reply business not com. Now the host may be getting a lot of different types of emails from business hangouts, so you want to filter it further to just pre and post comments on events that are held. So you go down to subject line, and here's where it gets tricky because you can actually put words in there, put a subject in there, and you'll get the comments back from that particular subject. But that means you would have to set up a filter for every one of your events that you set up. There's a way to get around that, and that is when you go to name your event. If you're setting up a business hangout on there and you go to name your event, you can put a code at the beginning of that event that will work on all events. It will filter that if you include that name, that code in the name of the event, then when this filter works, it will filter out all the events, no matter what the rest of the name is. So, for example, if we put in a bracket, a capital O, and a closing bracket, okay? Now, that's just one example. Uh, a three-character filter will work, but there are certain reserved characters that you cannot use. You can't use a greater than or less than sign. You cannot use an ampersand. You cannot use a tilde. You cannot use a hashtag mark. You can't use a pipe. That's a straight up and down thing. And you can't use an @ sign in your subject filters. Okay, you can use a comma, a question mark, an exclamation point, a dollar sign, the left and right brackets as I've done here, the left and right parentheses. You can use an underscore, you can use a plus sign, you can use a minus sign, you can use a equal sign, you can use a colon, you can use a forward slash or a backward slash. Using some of those, it's going to look like weird in the title. This looks a little weird, but you don't really have to worry about it. Now, that's what you put in your subject. And then when you actually name your event, when you're setting it up, you would put these three characters and then whatever else you want to call the thing. But on your filter, you only need to put these three. Okay? And then it says create filter with this search. You click here and it takes you to this. When a message arrives, it matches this search. This is what you can do with it. You can skip the inbox, you can mark it as read, you can star it, you can apply a label to it, you can forward it to an email address. Now, if you've already set up filters, you can click here to show what email address you want it sent to. Okay? If you have not previously set up a filter, you would go down here and it would say add forwarding address. Then when you click on that, it's going to ask you, forward a copy of the incoming mail to, and you put in your, add a forwarding address because you won't have, these won't be set up because those will be blank if you don't have anything. You click add a forwarding address. Now, if you're doing this to get your events, you do not want to have this unchecked. You want to disable forwarding because the filter will forward the filtered mail. If you click disable forwarding, that will enable forwarding and all your mail will be sent to whatever address you're putting in here. So make sure that disabled forwarding is here and then you add your forwarding address. And I said, please, and you would enter that there, okay? And then you would go down and you would save changes, and that would, I don't worry with the rest of this stuff because I don't know that much about it. It says when messages are accessed with pop people, I'm keeping copies in my inbox because I can deal with them later on my own. This is strictly to get stuff forwarded to your moderator. So that's basically it. Okay, no existing message. And that's true because I haven't saved anything or anything. So now I'm going to stop this presentation. We'll say stop. And we are now back. And now I will say stop the broadcast.